What's up, good people? What's the Ancestry Chronicler here, the Shawn J. Gandy. Thank you so much for stopping by my YouTube channel. You know how it is, what I always ask you to do. If you haven't subscribed already, if you can, just go ahead and just pause the video and be sure to subscribe, like, and share. That's my Ancestry Chronicles with the Shawn J. Gandy. And do give me the thumbs up. Appreciate it if I can get those thumbs up, everybody. So, yeah, so I appreciate that if we can make that happen. Listen, I'm still trying to reach 1,000 subscribers before I leave for Africa. So I have about a month and 2 weeks before I leave out to go to Africa. So you guys can make that possible. So if you can make that happen, much obliged. I appreciate you. And again, I appreciate all the comments. So be sure to give me the thumbs up and to subscribe if you haven't. And also share with somebody. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it every single time. All right, so I've kind of been, I haven't dropped a video, as if you notice, I haven't dropped a video in a minute. Kind of had surgery on my left arm, so kind of slowed me down a little bit in terms of being able to do what I need to do in terms of dropping some videos here and there. But, you know, surgery was a success, all is well. And I wish I could say, you know, it was like a surgery from like, you know, I had to get surgery on my elbow. So I wish I could say it was like, yeah, you know, it was a football injury, or yeah, you know, I was boxing and boxing and kind of hurt it, threw it out practicing, or you know, shoot some hoops and kind of like, you know, shot a J the wrong way or something like that. But I actually fell. So I actually fell and fell back in the day, really. It's like 2017, and you know, just been manning up. There you go. I was manning up on the pain for 5 years. So, but I figured going to Africa, I didn't want to have to deal with that pain, manning up or not. So just go ahead, went and got the surgery done. So I'm good. You know, it's just healing, and thank God that it's not my right hand. I'm right-handed, so it's not my dominant hand. So appreciation for that. So, man, I've been on this little journey that I just began recently on just trying to navigate between the story of telling the story of what it means to me that one of my great grandfathers, his paternal lineage shares ancestry, a common ancestor with the paternal lineage of King Louis the 16th. And so before I did that, I wanted to, you know, before I get into it, talk about it, I actually just wanted to, I felt I needed to go to my great grandparents' their gravesite and to just pay them a visit. So that's what I did. And so I just want to share that with you guys. Here's the video for it right here. So I'm standing out here on this somewhat cold and rainy day, and I'm standing here at the gravesite of my great-grandparents, 2 of my 8 great-grandparents, 2 that I knew very well, Joseph E. Bonner Sr. and my great-grandmother Fanny Sims Bonner. Fanny Sims, she's connected to she's a Malcolm. Her father's a Sims, her mother's a Malcolm. Loving husband and father, Joseph E. Bonner Sr., July 1904, April 1995. Right next to him is his wife, my lovely great-grandmother, who's a beautiful, beautiful woman. I mean, she was beautiful. Beloved wife and mother, Fanny Sims Bonner. August 1908, October 1982. I'm kind of surprised at that August 08 date. I thought she was born in 1904 as well, so I have to go back and just view the records and see which one of those are right. Either if that's right, 1908, or if the records of what I have for her, my family tree, 1904. My great-grandmother, her mother's her mother's maternal line, which we tested on African Ancestry. So that maternal line goes back to, it's a 100% match to the Bamileke people of Cameroon, and my great grandmother's mother's father's line, which is where African-born Malcolm is, formerly known as African-born Malcolm, now Belante-born Malcolm. That's his paternal line, and that was 100% is 100% matched to the Belante people living in Guinea-Bissau. And so now I'm just researching my great-grandfather, her husband, my great-grandmother's husband, my great-grandfather Joseph Bonner, and testing his line. And to my surprise, really to my surprise, his paternal line is European. And that's not what really surprised me, because there were stories that he had told us that he remembers sitting on his mother taking him to his grandparents' house, or his grandfather's house, and him sitting on a white man's lap. And she would tell him, "This is your grandfather." As far as my recollection is concerned, my great-grandfather never said the man was white. He said he looked white. I have a cousin whose great-grandmother is my great-grandfather's first cousin, and so they share the same grandparents, and she has the same story of sitting on her grandfather's lap, and that he also looked like a white man. So this kind of like, really got me engaged in wanting to do the research and to, just check out my great-grandfather's line. And so I was really surprised with, not that surprised with the European heritage in that lineage, although I really was hoping that it would be African, to be all honest, for all intents and purposes. I was really expecting and hoping that it would be African, lead us back to Africa, but it did not. It led us back to Europe. And so then we got this crazy result that we share in that line, my great-grandfather, or my cousin who took the test, who's my great-grandfather's grandson, through his son. Yeah, so it showed that we share common ancestor with King Louis XVI of France. It's kind of like crazy. Like, wait, what? Lineage with who? Shared ancestry through my great-grandfather's paternal lineage. So, all right, we know it's European, and now we're thinking back to that. Quite interesting. So that took some adjustment. I'll be honest with you, that took some adjustment. And how do you navigate that psychologically? Psychologically, how do you navigate that? Because, I don't claim to be European, although I know I have European DNA, 26% European DNA. I don't claim to be European. Neither am I viewed as European. Neither will I ever be viewed as European. So, what does this information mean? What does it mean in this society, in this world that I live in America, within my family? So all of these questions took some sitting with, so there could be some kind of adjustment, some kind of just trying to figure out what it all meant, how it all comes together, moving forward, things of that nature. And so I came out here to see my great-grandfather and my great-grandmother, both of them together. I don't have an aerial view, but who knows if they're looking down, but I know God sees. And I thank God for allowing me to be able to trace my family's heritage and lineage. So for that, I'm most grateful. So, yeah, I felt like I had to go and to their grave sites and just pay respects. Just have a moment there, processing it and everything. And with that, I want to get in and talk about what it means now to know that my great grandfather. I mean, I grew up hearing stories. Like I remember him telling me as a little child. My brother remembers more detailed of the story. And so, talking about that, my grandfather, my great grandfather, he would share with us that his mother would take him to this man's house that she had to clean. And at least that's what she told him. She had to clean, but when they would get there, he would sit on the man's lap, and she would tell him, "This is your grandfather." And he said he remembers that the man looked white. He remembers that. And to have my cousin Raymond have his great grandmother, who's my great grandfather's first cousin, have the same story about their grandparent in common. It was like, okay, so but I knew that wasn't the branch that I was trying to. I wanted to actually discover both branches, to just do some research on both branches. So I had my great grandfather's grandson, who's my mother's first cousin, and he carries the Y chromosome of my great grandfather. He's my great grandfather's son. I think my great grandfather only had one son, and he's the son of that son. He's the only son of that son. So after him, that's it for that Bonner line in my family, carrying that Y chromosome and the name as far as people that I know in my family. And so we wanted to get him tested, a sense of urgency. And it's that line, that paternal line for my great grandfather is European. For Joseph E. Bonner Sr. is European. And so, I was wondering, like, well, did he get the wrong grandparent? Did he? I mean, it's because I don't, and put it like this, I don't even know where that European man is in my great grandfather's lineage. I don't know if it was his I know it wasn't his father, and for all intent and purposes, I don't believe it was his grandfather. So I'm thinking, was it his great grandfather, second great grandfather? But then he doesn't remember them. He didn't remember them, and he wasn't telling stories about them. He said it was his grandfather. So I was like, okay, so maybe the story about the grandfather who looked white does exist on my great grandfather's mother's side. So then, what's going on with his paternal line? As again, I said, I knew the European man was not the father of my great grandfather, or the grandfather, or the great grandfather of my great grandfather. He could have been the great grandfather, but I can't find any records, and that's just it. I can't find any paper trail. I can't find any paperwork or documentation. But then, so this other information pops up. My great grandfather, on his paternal line, shares his patrilineage shares a common ancestor with King Louis the 16th, with his on his paternal line. So it's not saying that King Louis I'm a direct descendant from King Louis the 16th. What it's saying is that King Louis could be a great 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 uncle or something to that effect. It could have been one of King Louis's brothers, who if he had brothers, I don't even know. I think he had brothers who leads me back to the common ancestor. It could be one of King Louis's uncles, his father's brothers, who lead back. Okay, but the result is that I share common. I now share common ancestry with King Louis the 16th. So that puts King Louis the 16th in my family ancestry. He is a family member of mine. So what does that mean? Like, I took some time to process because I wanted to think about it. I was just like, what does this mean? And I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be totally honest with you. Purely my perspective, purely how I feel, and that's all I can speak for is just myself. It doesn't mean a thing. It doesn't mean anything. I live in America. Americans do not see me as European. I don't claim to be European. I do not look European. As I forestated in the video, as you saw in the video, I have 26% of my DNA is European. But I'm not in any way considered mixed heritage. No one look at me and say, "Oh, you're of mixed heritage." Even if my European DNA was 50% because I know people who look like me, Hershey chocolate, and they're like 50%, 49%, 51% European DNA. And no one's going to say, oh, you're of mixed heritage. So, I don't have the quote unquote look to be called a European. And so I don't go around claiming to be European. I know that I have European ancestry, and I know which branches of my family, for the most part, takes me back to those European. I actually have pictures of several of my third great grandfathers who were European, fourth great grandfathers, fifth great grandfathers who were European. I can trace those lines back to the 1400s, some of those lines. Some of those lines I've gone even further back, like really, 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 really far back. I don't even want to tell you how far back that I've gone on one of those lines, and that's interesting in itself because that line was a problematic line, in so much that the white people who are connected to me as DNA matches to me and my family members, one of them, reached out to me and asked me to take her family off my tree. And how dare I have my family on her tree? So the reality is that, yeah, King Louis XVI and I share common ancestry. I'm not reading the history books going, my cousin, I can't believe the French Revolution happened. They did that to my cousin. There's no, there's none of that there. I actually feel no connection to him. And I live in a society where I couldn't even have connection to French culture unless I lived in France. Because, no one was, oh, you're French? I say, okay, say, well, that's not true. There's, Gobert, the basketball player, the NBA player, who I believe now he plays on the Minnesota Timberwolves. He was traded, and he's on the Minnesota Timberwolves. And so, it's, oh, he's French. His last name is Gobert and things of that nature. And I think he's of mixed heritage. I believe one of his parents is French, and the other one might be African or something, to that nature. But you know what? If he moved here to America and he lived in America, he can speak French. He can have a French passport, the whole nine. But when he walks outside his house, and I'm pretty sure he could tell you that, when he walks outside his house, no one's looking at him going, other than those who know that that's Gobert. No one's looking at him going, that's a Frenchman. He's of European heritage. No one's doing that. It's like, it's a black man. And for whatever black people have to go through in this country, he's going to experience it to some degree, even though he's not Hershey chocolate. And so, the fact of the matter is, that's what it means to me, that I share a common ancestor with King Louis XVI. It means nothing. It was a nice note. I appreciate the information and the results, but that does nothing for me, especially when all things being considered. And I know people hate when I bring this up, say, oh, well, we always go right to that. We always go right. Who knows that it wasn't a genuine love affair? It could have been a genuine love affair. I was not there. But what we know is that for the most part, for all intent and purposes, for African Americans, when that European lineage ancestry comes into the lineage, starts the lineage, for the most part, statistically speaking, it wasn't due to some kind of love affair, and so that's just keeping it real, and that's just being honest. And so, that's it. So, yeah, I would like to know who the white person is in my family who starts my great grandfather's paternal line. The closest one to me, like, is it a great grandfather, a second great grandfather? I'll probably never be able to gather that information. I'm not sure. It's going to take some due diligence on my part, in terms of research and things of that nature. And I would probably need to go physically to those states and pull up records and work with genealogical societies in those states and everything. And so, I do want to know. I am curious, just because that's part of the story. At the end of the day, it was a nice piece of information, as I said, a nice piece of history to know that I share a common ancestor. And but yeah, I'm not walking around going, man, I can't believe they killed King Louis the 16th. Man, that was my great 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 uncle or whatever. There's none of that. It's like, so I shared it with my family. I shared it with different members of our family. They were just like, okay. Because at the end of the day, we are Black folk. And we're Black folks because we're Black folks. But even if we didn't want to be Black folks, we want to claim something else, America ain't letting us claim anything else. Walk out the door, go to the store, get in your car, go to whatever. We are what we are. So we, accept and embrace all of our heritage and all of the ancestry found in our lineages. But other than that, there's no hoopla, there's no party. I'm not going to celebrate, French Day or France, whatever. Like now I got to start keeping French holidays and stuff like that. Yeah, no. That's not going to happen. Especially when France has repeatedly stated that they want minorities out of their country anyway. So it's like, whatever. It's the same. And so that's so that's it. And I appreciate you stopping by. I appreciate you being able to share this part with me, and and just and listen. If you, and like I said, that's me. That's how I feel about it, and that's how people in my family feel about it. But if you've discovered European ancestry in your family and they're royal and all that kind of stuff, and you want to embrace that and wave the flag and stuff like that, that's you. Like, I don't got nothing against you. I'm not even like saying, oh man, I can't believe they did that. That's you. You have every right to celebrate your heritage, every right to celebrate your lineages, your ancestors found in your lineages. You have every right to do it. But for me, I'm just a realist. I can celebrate France and French things all day long. At the end of the day, I know where I stand. So listen, ladies and gentlemen, if you can, be sure to subscribe, like, share, give me those thumbs up. Please give me those thumbs up. I appreciate it very much if you can make that happen. And again, like I said, I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers before I go to Africa, before I go to Sierra Leone and visit my people, the Limba people. So I'll be leaving here in about a month and a couple of weeks. So if we can, let's make that happen. And I'm gonna try to get you out some more content as well. Hopefully my arm will be good to go. I'll be ready to go out on the basketball court and shoot some hoops and shoot some videos and continue on with the stuff that I'm doing through research and things of that nature. But all right, peoples, once again, I am the Ancestry Chronicler, the Shawn J. Gandy, and please be sure to subscribe, like, and share. And peace. I holla.